Hello everyone. I'd like to start this video by talking about duality and opposition. There are always two sides to every story. When the sun is in the constellation of Cancer, the earth is in the constellation of Capricorn. Just its opposite. We always think about where the sun is, but we rarely think about where the earth is. So when the earth, when the sun is right now the sun is in Capricorn, and that puts the earth in Cancer, or water. This is called mundane astrology, day-to-day astrology that deals with the general people. And it basically is more involved with like the moon. The planets move rather slowly compared to the moon that's just zipping through a constellation in a couple of days. But the earth itself moves in the 365 degree with the sun. Whatever constellation the sun is in, the earth is in the opposite. And we need to consider this when we think about this. If the sun, as the sun moves into Aquarius, the earth moves into Leo. This is knowing, this is confusion. And that's being played out here around us. Same thing here. When we talk about the Bibble Babble, when you hear statements like, "In that day you'll have no need of the sun or the moon, for I will be with you." Aquarius, ruled by Saturn, is opposite the house of the sun, and Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, is opposite the house of the moon. Leo is the time of confusion. That was the age of Babylon before the flood, and the world was destroyed because of it. In the age of water, or the moon, when we come into this age of knowing, we'll have no need of confusion or destruction. Capricorn is considered God, the Creator. So that makes the moon in the house of cardinal water the destroyer. Aries, ruled by Mars, is about war. It's the god of fire, cardinal fire. We're talking about the cardinal cross here, the Most High. Opposite him is Venus in Libra, the Most High of the heavens. And either you make love, not war. They're opposite each other. So we have knowing opposite confusion. We have creation opposite destruction. Sorry about that. You can just continue to go on around the zodiac and you will find this duality, this opposition, as the planets move through them, can feel the effects of the oppositions of the houses that you were born into from your natal charts. Your Saturn returns designates on 30-year patterns, they designate your advancement. The difference, you actually have 3 or 4 charts, because Saturn rules time, and he rules astrology in Aquarius. So every 30 years he comes back around in your natal chart and it looks different. Sometimes I've seen them repeat, which is odd. Very strange. It's going back to your childhood. Saturn also does this. So we will have no need of lunar astrology or solar astrology. We'll have no need of confusion or destruction, because we'll have knowing and creation. Capricorn is probably its cardinal earth. It's feminine. It's a creative sign. This is the sign of the Creator. So when right now we have Saturn over here in the house of ideologies. But when Saturn and Jupiter meet right here in 2020 in Capricorn, it's going to be a time of manifestation. And it's going to be a manifestation from the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind doesn't deal in language. It deals in symbology. It deals in symbols. That's why we must learn to, what does this picture say? You hear with your eyes. We've got to learn to hear with our eyes, and that is the language of symbology. Let's get into a bit of the alchemy of it and use what we've learned to decipher this. These are 4 stars. All right, they want to tell you it's the 4 seasons, this and that. Everything's connected to everything else. But they're the zodiac, and they're basically representing, to me, you can see the cardinal cross. You have the crab, the goat, you have the ram, and this should be an eagle or a scorpion here. So there, I meant, is that correct? Yes. No, the cardinal cross. Yeah, the balances of Libra. Libra, a serpent, or the balances here. This is Libra. So you're looking at Capricorn, Libra, Cancer, and Aries. And that's what you're seeing here. This representing the cardinal cross. And everyone's got a left finger up of Jupiter, but Capricorn. On the right hand, that forefinger on the left hand. It's like they're all in Pisces. You can tell almost this is more of a when than a who or a what. But you've got to ask the who, what, when, where, why, and how. And then they're showing you the symbology here, and you can clearly see Capricorn and Saturn sitting in Aquarius here. Capricorn, Pisces, Libra, the Most High of Heaven right here. Let's keep going forward. This will make more sense in a minute. Alright. Got the wings down here, so we're talking about an air sign. He's the caduceus. He's holding 2. This is almost like Gemini. So you're looking at the bronzed serpent on the pole here. You're looking at the eagle over here. So you're between. This is that feathered serpent. So you're looking at Mercury, the sun in Libra, the moon in Scorpio, and Mercury there with Venus. She rules Libra and Mars rules Scorpio. Used to be one house when the 2 were made one. We'll talk more about that too. Let's move forward. We see this little being here in Nostradamus' work, the Lion King, and he's the Serpent King. This is another depiction of Babylon. He's the Lion Man, and you have the lion represented here. So again, representation of the fixed cross, and then the Roman numerics here. Philosophy, astronomy, virtues, and alchemy. In Freemasonry, they worship the great architect. We're moving into it, and that is just a builder. But the great creator, he's an alchemist. To transmutate, create, is alchemy. More of a basic tree of life. Of course, Leo there at the bottom, automatically in confusion. Designated that way. A lot going on here. You've got, well, of course, spirit, ruled by Saturn, and anima, or flesh, ruled by Jupiter. This type of knowledge here, this came down in the age of Gemini, ruled by Mercury. He's Hermes Trismegistus. And they give you the order. This is the order. And Saturn and Jupiter meet. This is very interesting. This is the alchemical table of symbols. And it matches the periodic table of elements. You can pre-impose these symbols literally over the periodic table of elements. You need to know this. Every one of you need to know this. I might make a package of some of these and offer them here in the future. There are more references for alchemical symbols. This is the key to the names that decode the previous one. This decodes this in a more thorough manner, because all things are connected to everything else. And you need to know all of this, and you'll find out why. Ouroboros, of course, the sun is the eye. You have the representations of the planets. You have two elements pre-imposed over each other, which is a time of the changing of the ages. You have Saturn here. He's the goat man with the wings. He's over here in Aquarius. And these are called sigils. Sigils are very important in alchemy because each line or curve has a meaning, and it has a masculine tone, a feminine tone, and then again this symbol of the changing of the ages here. And you have the air sign and the water sign here. They're telling you what time it is. This is a when. More of the ancient alchemical. This is the savior of the world, Rex Mundi, king of the world. Of course, that's going to be Aquarius. And you have and then there's the confusion, the false king, the Leo king, the lion king. But the strange thing about these is these are like the highlights magazines. They're pictures within pictures. And they're done that way. You have the tree of knowledge here, right? It's the serpent giving that knowledge to Eve, because Adam was still asleep. God put him to sleep, but he never woke him up. And just your basic references for your planets include that you'll see. These will help you deciphering what you call the Vedic astrology charts. Like they use these symbols for comets, stars, moon, sun, even Ceres, Vesta, Juno, Chiron, the different what they call minor planets. Or here's a ye old periodic table: earth, water, air, and fire. Right off the bat, this is showing you that the alchemical table of symbols, because it's alchemy, it's about the elements. These four. It's about transmutation. We are becoming. This is the key to the Philosopher's Stone, of turning lead into gold. In this case, silver. To get the sun from the moon, or the gold from the silver, is done by the water, and this little symbol here, we'll have to go back into the table and get that. And when each metal is melted, or fire, it's water and fire. And when each metal is melted in its body by a flux, in the way we have described earlier, 1 part of silver against 4 parts of this flux as follows. Take Mercury, or Mercury and Venus, which would be liquid silver, quicksilver, and copper, each of equal amounts. This flux must be first heated and then added to the block, to the silver. And that's how you make gold. You're not given the whole thing here, but you get the gist of what it is. Now, everything is connected to everything else. Just like when they took the Twin Towers down and they put up the One World Trade Center. If you look at that building, it is, they just took one trade center, turned it upside down, and shoved it in the top of the other one. It's literally an 8-sided building. It's 2 buildings in the one. They represented the sun and the moon. The 2 pillars of Freemasonry must become one pillar. They're turning lead to gold, or Saturn into the sun. And that's what they did here. They used this same thing. And their flux in that capacity would have been the thermite, right, that heated and melted everything. Against the moon, and 4 parts of the sun, and you had Venus and Mercury. Everybody was present. They're always present in the heavens. But this was staged not just on this earth, but it was staged at a perfect timing. It was Freemasonry magic. The moon was in the house of Freemasonry, Orion, depicted in every tracing board on the planet. Just a few quotes, we'll skip those. Here are more of your symbols. I'm going to try to put these in a bunch of little packages so you understand this. We are performing alchemy all the time. When we cook our meals, when we prepare things, when we make compounds. The real purpose of alchemy is to take a thing and draw out its purest essence. You take, you want to get the quintessence of it, and then it is concentrated. And within us, that would be our spirit. The flesh or the dross will be washed away. This mortality will put on immortality, the spirit. This Jupiter must put on Saturn. Okay, I think that was the end of that line. But that's basically what I wanted to talk about. I want to talk a little bit more about Freemasonry and colors. I don't have anything here available for it, so we'll just leave it here. Freemasonry and colors. Why are the aliens gray? When you add Freemasonry's colors are black and white. When you put them together, they're gray. That's the matriarch. The patriarch is ruled by yellow and red. When you add yellow and red, you get orange. They picked that word on purpose because in the English language there literally is no word to rhyme the word orange with. There's no word there. When we talk about God, you're literally talking about the elements, right? You're talking about the 4 elements. They're the God of this world. They rule everything that is tangible. But then there's that 5th element, which is spirit. It's the thing unseen. And it has a light source. It's a light source that we cannot see with our naked eye. But when you go inward and meditate or pop your pineal gland, you get to see this light. And it is much brighter than the light of the sun. The light of the sun is just pale in comparison to this light. Even in broad daylight, if you pop your pineal gland and out while you're out in the presence of the sun, it's very clear that it has no comparison to this light. And everything comes from that light. In the beginning, time, which represented by Saturn, in Capricorn, creates the heavens, Aquarius, and Capricorn, the earth. And it was good. It became void and not was. This word was is put in there intentionally. For something to be was, it had to be was not and become. So the proper word should have been became void and without form. And darkness was upon the face of the deep. So darkness was already there. Darkness was not created. Darkness was just there. They don't tell us about darkness in that verse. But this word light that was created to separate the light from the darkness is the created light. It's the light. It's the light of creation. The sun and the moon are not created to the 4th day. And the heavens and the earth already existed. He created the heavens and the earth, and it was good. It became void and without form, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. Everything in Genesis is a recreation. It's a do-over. Because the word void is tuhu vuhu, and it means catapult or overthrow. Now this word light, it's titled. It has a capital letter, so it's not the light that we understand as light. It can even be a name, light, but it's where the word illumination comes from that word light, out of the original tongues. And it's a false illumination. The Illuminati is a false illumination. But when the true light comes, it will so overpower them, they'll look to hide in the shadows and the cracks and the crevices. When I see the media or television, newspaper, it's all so staged. And they're going to great extremes to what they're going through to pull off this delusion. I will send them strong delusion to cause them to believe the lie. Not a lie, the lie. And to me, that the lie is that serpent tongue. It's a knowledge. It's the knowledge of what's being perpetrated in the churches with the bibble babble of the Bible, and also what's being perpetrated in the court system with the bibble babble of the Black's Law book versus the English language, what we call corporate law and our language. And they have perverted it just as the scribes perverted the scriptures. These are the two beasts. The one that comes up out of the earth, out of Egypt, out of Freemasonry, and the other one that comes up out of religion, out of Jupiter, out of that water of Pisces, the religion of what they call Christianity, the Christianity. You got a Chris, an X, and two T's. That's the frickin' zodiac. It's Christianity. See what else I wanted to cover. So when you talk about alien grays, this is from Freemasonry. Black and white make gray. The colors are always your keys. There are many sets of keys. I'm trying to hand you these keys to open up this knowledge for yourself because it affects you. You must take up your cross, whether it be mutable, cardinal, or fixed, and follow the Lamb wherever he goes.